It's episode 343 of The Platformers, a show about games and nerd culture, and I am the God of Thunder, Brian Barnett.
I live, die, and repeat, Chris Cornelise.
I'm Lucas White, and I had to deal with a skunk, so I don't have anything fun to say.
A skunk and a dryer fire, no less.
Yeah.
I would have told you, if I was there, I would have told you not to put the skunk in the dryer, but unfortunately, I was not there.
I had to defend myself somehow.
That's true. That is true. And
that is fair.
That is a fair way to do it. Yeah. But yeah, we got some stuff to talk about this week. Shall we start with Rivals, or do you think that will alienate too much of our audience immediately?
Well, I mean, you did tease me before the show about something that you're like, oh, do you want to know? And then stop. So I'm kind of curious. But at the same time, if we just keep talking about Rivals at the start of every show, we're gonna typecast ourselves here pretty bad. So up to you, really.
That's true. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna update this thing. Oh wait, does that actually go into play immediately? Oh my god, it does. Okay, so I have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games of competitive Marvel Rivals.
On PS5 specifically.
On PS5 specifically, because I just started an account on PS5. I just started playing comp yesterday. And I've played 13 games of competitive. I have a 46% win rate. That is 6 wins, 7 losses. I have won every single game where my team has not had a person disconnect. But
so that's what it comes down to, huh?
More than half of the games, somebody disconnects, and it was like 80% early on. Like we went on a win streak where I'm playing with my cousin, where we won 2, then lost 1, then won 2 more. So 4 out of those 6 wins were just in the last 5 games. So like,
up to that point,
it was like 80% loss rate because every game somebody would just abandon us.
So that's why Bronze 3 is Bronze 3. Apparently, people just keep quitting.
And
quit or disconnect or have,
Yeah, so and if you don't know, in quick
somebody
play,
cuts the strings of their tin can wireframe.
Yeah, if you don't know, in Marvel Rivals quick play, if somebody drops from a game, they will get another player and pop them right in to a game in progress. In competitive, they don't do that. So if somebody
for obvious
leaves,
reasons,
they have a chance to reconnect, and if they don't, you're just down permanently 1 person for the rest of the game. Which
the caveat to that is that if the player never connects, the game will just end in a stalemate and reset everything. But that only happens in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah. Which I've never had happen.
I've had it happen. More often than not, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah. But the good news is, when I was winning by so much. I was actually stomping people to the point where I was getting...
You're playing in Bronze 3.
Yeah, I was getting almost
with a fresh account when you're actually gold, in your main account.
Yeah, at least gold, yeah.
My friend, you are technically smurfing.
I was going to say, a man is admitting to smurfing in public.
But here's the thing. Smurfing is only when you make a new account for the same platform. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to play on a different platform to be able to play with my friends because cross-platform competitive matchmaking isn't enabled. So
you can play cross-play for quick match, but not competitive. Yeah, so that's why it's being done.
Making me do this. So
fair.
But yeah, my win rate with Groot is 75%, and my win rate with Invisible Woman is 66%. It's pretty crazy.
Not bad.
My win rate with Namor, 0%.
Yeah.
Terrible.
All I know about Namor is he has eggs.
He does. He's got the little octopus eggs. Oh, he's the best.
For work, since I'm news over at Restart, I'll have to cover a Marvel Rivals patch or whatever. and I won't know what's going on. But then it'll be like something, something, something. We made an adjustment to Namor's eggs. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
just out of context.
He's got these. I mean, I don't know. It might be better for me to not explain it and you just to be like Namor lays eggs,
or something.
But yeah, but there's a giant octopus that is like one of his, I guess, chief like monsters, and it's called Monstro, and he's got these little eggs of Monstros that he throws out, and they stick to surfaces, and then they hatch into little octopuses that spit like damaging ink at people. And they're like little turrets. And when he teams up with another character, Luna Snow, he gets like a really powerful ice empowered octopus that like slows people down as well. He's really fun. So
you can tell Brian plays a lot of Namor.
I do play Namor.
And you can tell that whenever Brian he knows all about Namor's eggs, and he's always begging Luna to come along and carry him for more eggs.
Yes.
Gotta get those eggs.
Luna, I need your eggs. It's awful. It's awful.
That's horrible.
I stand by it. I mean, this is coming from
potential title.
A former Blaze Blue player where where there is literally a character named S, spelled ES. And yes, that is an acronym for egg storage. Terrible.
Oh God.
Absolutely. No. Wait. Sorry. I'm wrong. It's actually embryo storage. It's even worse. Worse. It's terrible. And she looks very, very way too young. But anyways, we're going to get as far away from this as humanly possible and talk about some games. So anyways, that's Rivals.
Not even once.
Rivals is continues to be just an absolutely fantastic game. I am really excited for what's coming out with season 2. Probably Blade. I've seen some things where people are hypothesizing or maybe data mining that like Emma Frost might be coming, which I am very excited about. I'm a big Emma Frost fan. Ever since January Jones played her in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Thumbs up. Great character.
Yeah.
But anyways,
that'll be interesting. Time to get confused between her and Luna Snow all the time.
Well, and people, people already confuse like Dagger and Sue. So it's just going to be.
In fairness, at a glance,
they look similar, yeah.
Then you get Howard the Duck in there.
Yes.
Oh man, they really should.
They really should. And like Spider Pig or something. That'll be like 3 years down the road when they're really just like scraping the bottom of the barrel.
It's not even like you want to get your big star heroes out there, and then you want one or two weird heroes every time.
Yeah.
Like just sprinkled in here and there, which is how most, games and such do it, which is why, we have all, here are your cast of main Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxies and X-Men, and also here is Jeff.
Yeah, here's Jeff,
the Land Shark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy because like this is when a game gets this popular, it also becomes like a launching pad for unpopular or like unknown characters. Because like the Guardians were not a big pull before James Gunn made those movies, and now it's like everybody loves Groot and Rocket now.
Nobody cared about Iron Man back in the day.
That's true.
Yep.
Iron Man was like a C tier hero.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made that movie, and Robert Downey Jr. fucking nailed it.
Destroyed it. Yeah. One of the best casting situations of all time. It's crazy that like of the best cast characters, like 2 of them are Marvel characters, at least 2. J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson is like GOAT tier. Ridiculous.
God, that was. Has there ever been a more perfect cast? I don't think there has been.
Honestly, I don't think so. I cannot think of one. But yeah,
that's pretty good.
You're fired.
Wild.
Oh, actually, Jonah, we need somebody to cover that wedding. Okay, you're unfired. Parker, get back in here.
You're rehired.
I love it.
So good.
Freelance, best thing in the world for a kid your age. Can you give me an advance? Huh? Oh God, just the memes, so good. Anyways,
I can't even come close to doing that laugh, but I have clipped it many a time.
So good, so good. Oh, you're serious. Anyways, let's start with. Oh man, what should we start with? Let's see. What has?
Well, aside from Marvel Rivals,
Aside from that, okay. So I'm curious because I have beaten it already. I'm curious, Kris. What do you have to say about Citizen Sleeper 2?
so obviously we talked about this. It was a couple of weeks back. You both had played through a bunch, and then for whatever reason, I just put it aside and didn't come back to it. There wasn't any like real reason to do so. I just, for whatever reason, I put it down, and then I happened literally just the last couple of days. I'm just like, oh yeah, there's a few games I really need to go back and revisit. So I hit up Citizen Sleeper 2 again, and then it basically consumed all of yesterday for me. So I am progressing through that now. I also did test what we talked about previously in what happens if you let Lane find you in the first area.
Yeah.
It proceeds as normal, but you take an extra bit of damage, and then you lose out on all opportunities on Hexport because obviously the plot continues. But it isn't like a hard fail state. It's just penalized. These opportunities are cut off for you. Plot continues. So
does the
that's what happens.
Is still escape? He just gets really close.
Gets close, I believe, because immediately after that you get your first glitch dice, 2 of them. And I think I also took damage from that because basically you have to beat a hasty retreat, and I took damage in the case of doing that.
Okay.
But then afterwards, everything that was possible to do on Hexport is gone, which I assume includes a specific crew member who you have to do the quest for to unlock appearances down the track. I don't know if she shows up later because I immediately started a new file to not do that. But yeah.
So the biker?
No, Junie.
Oh shit, dude! Being without Junie would fucking destroy my playthrough.
Yeah, she's my favorite character. I would not be cool with that. But
and she also was like the only character I found that gave me the exact complement to the skills that I had. Because normally I go in as operator, but I went as engineer this time, so I needed an operator, and she's might be the only operator I found in the game. She's definitely.
I'd have to double check. I think somebody at least has like they have neutral rather than plus. That's how the crewmates work. But yeah, she's the only one with plus that I found.
Yeah, I think she's the only operator in the game. Which, if you couldn't get her, that would be brutal. Although she does show up later in the game. So you might find her in the abandoned ship or something. But
that's the thing. I'm not sure if she would, because I didn't continue with that playthrough. I immediately, redid it. Like, obviously, after Hexport, she drops out for a bit, and then you can meet up with her later. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if she would be there if you didn't meet her or do the thing on Hexport. That's what I don't know.
And also, I'm pretty sure at that point you get glitch dice anyway. Like, just as part
you
of
do
the story.
that event still, like, I did compare the two, and that event still happens. Okay. It's just a case of like what happens immediately after when you get controlled.
Yeah,
that still happens. Therefore, you still get the glitch dice. Okay. But I took extra damage trying to get away from Hexport before the Hexport stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. Yeah, good test.
But yeah. So tested that as I said I was going to. Sorry, it took so long. It is what it is.
It's all good.
But other than that, I have continued to play through the game. I'm not sure how far through I am. I want to say maybe halfway through. So I basically went to the top of the map up to Wellspring, did all the Wellspring stuff, and then have been going back and filling in that before heading further south. I just reached the, what are they called? The scatter yards, I want to say.
Okay.
And so that's kind of setting up what I feel is Act 2, which leads back to going to Darkside and all that. So, yeah. Okay. So that's about where I'm at. I've been pretty thorough. I've done most of the side quests. I've recruited everybody I could. I've maxed out, basically gone and explored as much as I possibly can. And currently, I still like the game. I think the game is great. Still, I definitely like the first game better. And I think part of that is just the first game, you really, really had to juggle the economy of resources.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And you had to know balance your time, your resources in order to get the stabilizer, to keep all that, need to get the food. It always felt very tight, and I was never completely sure that I had options until right towards the end when it's like, finally, I've gotten into the rhythm where everything is stable and I don't have to keep, scrounging. But the scavenging of the first game helps sell it so much more, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's much better balanced than that.
And I think that's also true because of the way that, like, sometimes, like, not to give too much away, but like in the first game, one of the main ways that you kind of keep your head above water is like mining or stripping ships for parts very early. And like at a certain point, it doesn't matter whether you screw up or you don't, like they take that option away from you. So then you become desperate. Like, how am I going to keep my head above water? Because this has been the thing.
It forces you to go out and look for other options, to meet new characters, to do all that. So yeah.
And yeah. Like I said when I reviewed Citizen Sleeper 2 on the show, I feel like the first game does a much better job of keeping characters in your life and letting you see those relationships unfold over a longer time period, which helps a lot with the emotional investment. And I feel like that's where the second game kind of falls short for me.
Yeah, it's the characters are spread out over too many places rather than just one big central hub.
Yeah.
And so you kind of go to one area, do that kind of event side quest thing, and then move on. And so those characters and such move on. Sometimes some crew members will come with you. You can still interact a little bit with them. They'll have further quests and such. That's cool. They're generally the most interesting ones, like Junie, for example. But
I feel like it's because we get more time with them. To be honest,
that's pretty much it. Yeah, you need that time. Like there were certain characters that were cool, but then the event was done and off they go. And it's like, yeah, all right, cool. But yeah, so the game overall is good. The concept is pretty good. I like the addition of things like glitch dices and dice damage and such. That's a pretty good system. But yeah, I think just overall the traveling aspect of it and the economy balancing, I basically feel rich.
Yeah.
Like I there is no point where I felt like I'm short of cryo at any point.
Yeah.
And even, just even keeping all my supplies at max, my fuel at max, still have cryo in the bank, still can go get, the ship upgrade as soon as it appears. All that, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the first game helped because it felt a lot more desperate, a lot more scrappy. And that really helps sell the world and such. The writing and everything is no less good here. It's really good. There's some really interesting stuff going on. I just don't. There's whole items in my inventory that I just don't even care about. I just don't pay any attention to until they come up. And it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So just the actual mechanical systems of it don't feel as tightly refined as they were in the original. But everything else is good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
so that's where I'm at with it. I'll hopefully continue on with it and finish it by next time.
Nice.
I feel like a lot of people found the second one more difficult than the first, so it's interesting. That's kind of where your experience. And,
yeah, that's also my experience as well, but specifically because my character class, like the engineer, has a way, if you spec into it, where like you can use your
I'm also playing that. So
your dice rolls to basically, like, if you roll a certain amount on your class action, you can like reduce your stress by 2. And since stress like really is a like cascade failure system and like snowball into terrible situations system, being able to like reliably reduce that without having to go and do anything like while you're out on a mission is like invaluable. Like that is a really powerful skill that once I realized what it was doing for me, I like doubled and tripled down on it. And then I basically
I maxed it out
have, like,
pretty much first.
Yeah, I didn't have any troubles, like, because that's the problem. Like I didn't really have to deal with glitch dice like that often. Because my stress wasn't giving me additional ones. So I would get like the story mandatory ones, but then not otherwise, unless I really got screwed over, in which point, like, and I never died in the game. like, which, death carries a heavy cost, but like I never paid it. So,
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
think I don't think I reached a fail state in the first game either.
I don't think I did either, but I came very close.
Yeah. Very often it would be like I had
It
to make
always
deals.
felt like I was just treading water, and that's kind of why I loved it. But here, I don't think even the worst. I don't think I've done a contract where I didn't like the highest I've ever gone is like 5 stress. I've never had more than like 2 broken dice at a time, and that's rare. That's happened like once. And then all my dice at the moment are damaged because you can't repair them until they break. But like, I'm fine. I'm sitting up just fine and getting through everything okay. So I don't know. I'm finding it. I wouldn't necessarily say easier, but like I'm definitely keeping above it a lot better than I did in the first. So
I wonder how
maybe
much
that's
of that
just
is
practice.
like
I don't know.
experiential.
Yeah,
Like,
it might
like
just
you
be
played
the
it
fact that
multiple
I know what to look out for, know how to juggle it better. But I don't know. Yeah.
It's interesting.
I'm also having better luck. I'll give it that. I'm having better luck this time around than I did in the previous 2 start files I had. So that might help.
Luck is nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to be lucky. It's better to be lucky than good. Isn't that what they say? But
makes sense.
Makes sense, especially in a very dice rolly game. So
yeah. All right. Well, Lucas, what have you got for us?
All right. Been a minute since I've been here, so I was kind of going through my backlog of stuff, but figure I start with the most recent first. So I had an interesting experience from a work perspective. Pretty sure this is the first time that's happened for me, but I played a shadow drop game before it was shadow dropped.
Ooh.
That's always fun.
Mm-hmm. So this is a game called Look Outside, and it came out just the tail end of last week, I believe. Devolver Digital published it.
So it's good.
Yeah, exactly. There is a association there that's very easy to make. The person who is largely responsible for the game, I apologize, I haven't heard their name out loud, but Francis Colombe, maybe? Kind of spelled
Haven't
like...
heard it aloud either, but yeah.
Yeah. So this was like a game jam kind of thing this person made. And then I guess it was really well received. So it kind of expanded into something on their itch.io page. And then I guess Devolver was like, oh, this looks dope. Let's give you some people to help flesh it out more. And then we'll put it out on like Steam and stuff. Very much made an RPG Maker.
That was my next question. Yep. It looks like an RPG Maker game, is it?
Mm-hmm. And it's very super duper indie. Like you open it up, it's not full screen. There's not a lot of control options, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can just tell. But man, this is one of the coolest horror games I have played in a long time. Just for context, I gave it a 9 at Shack News. Just blown away by this game. It is a RPG Maker game that does have like turn-based combat and equipment and items and stats and everything. So it's very like Dragon Questy, but it also has a lot of like survival horror logic in it. So like your weapons break, you're very vulnerable. Like you get hit really hard by enemies. I don't think inventory space is limited, but just finding
The resources
things.
are scarce.
Yeah. So all that. And the mood is just, it's hard to describe. It's so, everything is just off. It's very like unsettling, very not quite dreamlike. Like it's a little more lucid than that. But it's weird. Basically, the premise is you wake up in your apartment building with a strong urge to look outside, and you can choose to do so. You absolutely can make that choice, or you can choose to like do other things. Um, and basically, what's going on? It's almost very Junji Ito, in that something is happening outside, and if people look at it, uh, their whole situation changes. Their bodies change. Their minds change. They basically turn into monsters, but it's like a person-to-person basis. So it's like
Hmm.
a monster based on their interest or some context or something. So you have 15 days uh, before something else happens.
Hmm.
You can basically do whatever you want to pass time. You can stay in your apartment. You can play video games, and they'll make like your stats go up a little bit. You'll get EXP from that. You have to eat. You'll get hungry. Um, you can. At one point, I think you get like a little crossword puzzle book that will pass time for no benefit. Um, and sometimes someone will knock on the door, and you can choose to just swing the door open. You can look through the people. You can ignore it. Uh, very, very open-ended kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But if you leave, a little meter will start to build up that will tell you how dangerous things are. And it's basically like you've been playing this long since you've come back to save your game kind of warning. I don't think
Interesting.
the game actually gets more aggressive or anything, but it's there to remind you, like, hey, you're pushing it, you're pushing it, you're pushing it. Um, when you get back, you get bonus experience points based on how long you were out that are so much more bountiful than like anything you'll get from winning battles or whatever. Um, so you go out and you just come across things, try doors, see what's behind them. Puzzles will present themselves. You run into characters that might have like story stuff instead of just combat. You can choose to attack anyone you want to. Um, but largely it's like about going out and uh, just using your time and discovering things, um, and hopefully surviving.
Hmm.
And it's just wild. Like the art style is like it's pixelated or pixel art, excuse me, but it doesn't look like, you know, an old video game or whatever. It doesn't look like something that would have been on a Nintendo. It's very like chunky. It's very uh, uh, drawn. It looks drawn by an individual. A lot of
Yeah,
like
highly recommend
really,
checking out the trailer. Like I took a look at the
oh
trailer
yeah,
because I hadn't heard of it previously, and like, wow, yeah, you'll
right,
see immediately what is meant by that.
yeah, yeah. Tons of detail, but like very unrealistic, almost cartoony, but not. Uh, and you'll see like a character with like he's got a big old goofy grin on his face, but he's hunched over and
A
kind of holding his
great big
jacket.
bushy beard.
And then you go to fight him, and he'll get closer to you and open his jacket, and what's inside is just some pretty
Worms.
gnarly stuff.
He's
It's
showing you his
very
worm. Oh no.
you don't want to see any worms, especially here. It's very body horror. Um, one uh, early thing you can stumble across, so I'm comfortable talking about it, is like uh, a baby. Their crib just so happens to be like under the window. So the baby looked outside
Oh no.
without realizing what's happening. The baby was teething. Um, so everything that happens inside that apartment, including the rest of the baby's family, involves teeth in
Oh
really
no.
horrible, messed up ways. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gnarly, and it's fresh, right? So like if you go further into the apartment, uh, obviously like you're taking longer to travel, so the story's like, oh, the things have kind of settled here and got really weird. But on your floor, things are still actively happening, including this family. So you kind of see them uh, going through changes and kind of losing their sort of awareness of what's around them, blah 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 blah. Very gnarly, and you can kind of take things at different orders because like depending, like you go into someone's apartment and things can kind of change depending on which room you look in first, because like you might find something I wrote in my review, which is very harrowing, is you can find a little green army man in one room. And if you find that first and you end up in this other room, there is a child playing with army men. The child is not completely a child anymore. But you can actually like choose to sit down and play army men with this
thing.
Yeah. It's pretty messed up. It's very impactful. That really sat with me for a while. And really just like from things being weird to things being uncomfortable to things being really dark like that. Just this game just was on my mind even when I wasn't playing it in a way that hasn't happened in a while. So there's like vibes, the scenarios, the creativity, the art, just like everything about it is just like, whoa, like this person was cooking.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah. And there's like one more thing really to say about it. Is that like it has this almost like I can't think of a better word than perversion, but it's not quite that. But it's like it rewards you for going out and engaging with things, right? It always gives you the option to like do the thing, to go outside, to just open the door without looking first. It has this very strong focus or interest in curiosity and like morbid curiosity and acting on that curiosity. It's really fascinating. Almost like, this is horrible and it's scary and your life is in danger, but like it's also kind of fucking like weird and cool and exciting, right? You know what I mean? It's like, whoa.
You have never seen any shit like this. Go check it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're saying is this is exactly my sort of a game. And because I would definitely, I'm the type of person who's like, forbidden knowledge.
Yeah.
I can take it.
Nah, I'd win.
Yeah, I'd win. Yeah, hell yeah.
The way I put it in my review is something like it's almost like you're playing as the character in a movie that's doing the like obvious stupid thing that everyone in the audience is like yelling at them, "Don't do that! Don't open the door!
What are you going in that room for?" Yeah,
but it's like what's going on in the person who's opening the door's mind,
Yeah.
Um,
oh shit, pizza for me?
Maybe they're just a real sicko and they're like, no, I gotta see what's on the other side of this door.
What if there's here's the thing, people are telling me that I shouldn't be looking outside, but what if there's an eldritch creature out there who's trying to strike a bargain? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can get some sweet cursed powers out of this. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just like immaculate vibes, interesting gameplay. There's difficulty options, so like there's still points where it can be like you just went a little too far and your stats just aren't going to cut it and you're gonna see the game over screen. But you can make it to where you can save anywhere instead of having to go back to your apartment, etc., etc. And eventually you'll find like party members and stuff depending on how things go, so combat gets a little easier. And it's like not quite a roguelike, but it does have it's almost like a romancing saga game where it's like you experience what you run into and come across, in addition to the main story or whatever, different endings and all kinds of stuff. It
sounds cool like there'll be a lot of flexibility to it.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
$10 came out of nowhere. So cool. Another thing that was cool, this person was an artist on the iconic cult classic Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden back in the day, if you remember that.
I do, in fact.
I do not.
Oh man, what a time.
You're missing out.
That game was wild. Another like RPG Maker kind of situation.
Yeah, that's one of those kind of RPG Maker scene games that breach containment, I suppose we could say.
In a way.
But yeah, which goes in that also extends in general to the fact that there is a lot of really good horror games made out of RPG Maker. Like there is that grand old tradition of people just going, yeah, we could just make, sword and board fantasies, but what if we fuck with things and use this framework for it? And there's a lot of that,
Really
especially
effective.
out of Japan. So
Love
yeah.
it.
You wouldn't think like little sprites could be spooky, but they figure it out in some of these cases.
People who think that have not played Scald against the Black Priory, and it shows.
There you go.
That's another
Look
game I need to
Outside.
finish.
Yeah.
Look Outside.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't.
I realized as I was kind of filing this review, I've already given 3 games a 9 this year, this March.
Wow.
I gave 3 games a 9 and 1 game a 10 all year last year. So there's
We're off to a strong start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good year for games. Bad year for everything else, but good year for games.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check that one out now.
Yeah, me too.
It can people are comparing. I've heard people comparing it to like the likes of Lisa or Amori or the other big ones in that kind of weird RPG Maker-esque games. It's like this is another one to watch out for. So my interest is peaked.
Definitely.
Well, while we are on the topic, I will go ahead and talk about a game that is also beautifully retro in art style, but not quite as deep. It is a little bit more basic and a little bit more iterative, and that is He Is Coming. So this game is not out, but I've been playing the demo on Steam. So this is a top-down, spritey, auto battler RPG where basically what happens is there is at the top of the screen, there are alternating days and nights. And you have, I think, 5 pips per cycle. And as you move around, those pips will decrease until it changes to nighttime. When nighttime goes down, your visibility goes down. And you will also, like, campfires will be lit around the map, and you'll also have your home that you can go back to and rest. If you rest, it will spend the rest of the nighttime, and that will all be gone, but it will heal you to full. If you don't do that, then you have more opportunities to go around and run into monsters or dangerous animals and fight them, defeat them, and then get past them to treasure chests and various other things to upgrade your character. Basically, you have a finite amount of movement that you can do before the end of the cycle, at which point the boss will appear wherever you are once you run out of time. And they will have, like in Loop Hero or other kind of games like this, they will have like a unique wrinkle about them that makes them different from other fights, in addition to just being tougher.
Yeah, I saw this and immediately went, oh, this is Loop Hero.
Yeah, it's
just very, very Loop Hero.
It is very Loop Hero, except the difference is you are not governing your surroundings, you are exploring them.
Yeah, okay.
So you are free to move about the cabin as you please. Anytime you want to retreat and heal up, you are free to do so. But I found myself leaning into using upgrades and picking up items that allowed me to generate more sustain for myself so that I did not have to rest and I could just spend all that time exploring and getting better equipment. There are also like items that go together. Like you can discover like sets that have set bonuses. So like I got in my, God, I don't know how many playthroughs I've done of this, but I did reach out to the devs and were like, hey, I like this a lot. Like, keep me in mind when this goes 1.0. And they're like, oh, I think it's going early access first. I'm like, I don't care. Whenever you guys have more, I want it because this is really fun. But I got to the first boss, and I think the first boss I beat just having straight up more damage than it, or like being able to out damage it before it killed me. And I had a little bit of self-healing. My second playthrough, I went heavy into self-healing and like cleaned up the first boss. I lost to the second boss because the second boss was just like, unfortunately, the second boss was like, I think it retaliated every time you attacked it. And my build was like, I attack with little damage, but I heal myself every time I do. And it just was not enough. Like I almost pulled it through, but it was not enough. My second time I got a different, so you get different bosses each time you do this. I think I got the same first boss out of 2 of my however many runs. But I never fought the same second boss twice. And then I found a set bonus where it was like, all right, every turn I get more armor. And so you have health, you have armor. And when your armor is still intact, you don't take any health damage. It depletes from armor first. Then you will have like certain abilities that will be, I forget what it's called. There's like different terms where it's like, once all your armor is gone for the first time, once you reach half health, like these are the triggers that have your items do stuff. So one of them is like, oh, when you get to half health, it'll heal you by 3 and give you 5 armor or something. And then there's like food where it's like after every match, you'll heal by this amount or it'll give you this much armor. There's all kinds of little things that you can pick up. And after every boss you beat, they give you 2 more equipment slots. So you can keep carrying more and more as you go. But I found a combination of things where it was like, all right, the first turn, it gives me armor. Then every turn, it turns some of my armor into thorns. And then when enemies attack me, I deal shit tons of damage. And because I have so much armor, I didn't take any damage. So then it would be like, all right, then if I get to half health, if I ever get to half health, give you 8 armor or something like that. So it was just like a ridiculous sustain, always generating more armor, which in turn gets transformed into thorns. And then I got another ability where it was like, every time your thorns are removed, because they're removed after every time you get hit. So it would be like, okay, I have a certain amount of armor that's converted into 3 thorns. After somebody hits me, they take 3 damage and then my thorns go away. But I picked up another item where it was like, every time your thorns disappear, add that many to armor. And I was like, bro,
wow.
I'm cooking. I am cooking out here. Like I literally can't lose. And it got to the point where like I was fighting a boss and it was like, every time it attacked me, it did like 1 more damage. And the idea was it would just keep ramping up. And it was like, it couldn't even get close to killing me. And it was like the boss was basically like, I'm going to do a lot of ticks of small damage. And I was like, dude, do your worst. I was literally built to kill you. Like, oh, so good. And then I got
break yourself up on me.
Exactly. No army has ever breached the Hornburg, you know. But yeah, and then I fought the next boss, and it was like tailor-made to destroy me. So I was like,
oh no.
But yeah.
Unfortunate.
So good. But this game, like it looks fun. It's super bite-sized. It's just really enjoyable. I love it. And I really can't wait. The demo is this fun and this like polished, and even like discovering like there's little item set bonuses where you get like little benefits from finding items that seem like they should work together, and then it makes them better together. And they're not like Diablo where it's like 5-piece set bonuses. It's literally just 2 items that like feed into each other and you get a little set bonus. So I don't know how much they're going to expand on that, but I love it. It runs beautifully on Steam Deck. The demo is free on Steam. So definitely go check it out.
Published by Hooded Horse. That explains a lot. They're basically the up and coming Devolver, I swear, these days.
Oh yeah? I haven't.
Yeah.
I think this might be the first thing that I've seen from them.
They also did Against the Storm, so that's not true. That's,
okay. That's not the first thing that I played from them. I just was not paying attention. They sent me this thing. I like the key art. And then they're like, here's a key for the demo. And so I tried it and I was like, yeah, this is good. So
I have the demo queued up to download right after we're done here.
Yeah, and I know Jarrett played it, so we talked about that a bit in Discord. So he's a sicko, just like the rest of us. Beautiful.
We tend to attract them a lot around here.
It is true. And it's very few times that I am disappointed or that I am disappointed by attracting somebody as attractive as Jarrett. Great dude.
My goodness.
If you want to see some Jarrett stuff, go back and listen to our Game of the Year episode 2 years ago. I want to say
He was here for Double Dragon.
he was here for Double Dragon.
Yeah.
That might have been what he was here for.
He has been on the show at least once before while I've been around. So yes,
maybe 2. Yeah, 1 or maybe 2. Anyways, great dude. All right, Lucas, do you have anything else that you want to get into?
Yeah.
What you got?
2 more games I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Okay. So I started with something that came out of nowhere and was really awesome.
Okay.
Let's
Now
go for something I was really
coming out of everywhere and is really terrible.
Yeah. Well, something I was really looking forward to, and ended up being kind of disappointed by.
Oh.
And that is, oh my god, hold on.
Did you forget the name? Wait, is it surely someday we'll defeat the Demon King?
Not quite, but
not anything like that.
Okay. Atelier Yumia.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land.
So another long ass game title, just not that one.
Yeah, but it's an Atelier game. That's a long running series by now.
Yeah, their titles are very flowery, kind of reflect the vibe. So let's see where to start. If you don't know what Atelier is, it's like the cozy game before there were cozy games. It is the an RPG series since like the PlayStation. That's always been about crafting. Very intricate crafting systems, not just banging 2 items together.
You're an alchemist.
Mm-hmm.
You are always an alchemist, and your atelier is your workshop.
Exactly. Usually you've got a big cauldron. Not this time, but usually items have properties.
No cauldron?
Properties.
What are we even doing here if there's no cauldron, man?
Dancing.
Okay, carry on.
So this series has always been kind of on the obscure side, a little niche, but kind of steadily started coming out in North America, and then really, really kind of broke ground with a bigger audience with the Nintendo Switch and when Atelier Ryza came out.
That character design kind of broke through. That's what it is. It was Ryza's design. Let's not kid ourselves here. They know it. We know it.
I think it was also partially like just the fervor for Switch games and the fact that this one kept like selling out.
That too. Like, I mean, it was a lot of factors, but that was probably the main one that really kind of stood out to a lot of people. I know a lot of people were like, ooh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Atelier Thiza, am I right?
Apparently. So these games are often split into like little sets or trilogies, 2 games, whatever. Usually around like some kind of central theme or maybe like a location. Maybe not usually a person, but sometimes. Usually
like returning characters in like those mini trilogies and such, but not usually the same main character. Ryza was an outlier.
Yeah, exactly. So like Ryza was an outlier because it was like the same character. Also, they were just doing the same title with like a 2 and a 3 next to it. That doesn't happen super often. But they just really struck gold with this game. So this is their kind of follow up to that, where they're like, we're going to go bigger. We're going to go better. We're going to do everything in this video game. And for me, it kind of backfires. It feels like they looked at the situation with the series that's kind of been pretty tiny, chugging along, has its fans for a long time. Suddenly being like, just not, probably not blockbuster numbers, but like way, way bigger numbers than they were used to.
Yeah.
So it's like, an opportunity for growth. So we're gonna go open world. We're gonna go real time combat. We're gonna do crafting and building systems. We're gonna do open world checklist stuff, dungeons and caches of items and keys and overworld puzzles, zip lines, everything that's been in every other big video game. We're gonna cram it in here. But then like we're still Gust, a pretty small developer, and it is a miracle that this game functions as well as it does and looks as nice as it does. It truly
Yeah, they
is.
usually have good art style, but not good performance. And that is pretty typical of their games, going quite a way back.
Yeah, PC ports fine, but still pretty like resource intensive. People play them on the Switch and they're chuggy, but they have a lot of charm, I guess, and that kind of supersedes that. But basically what we have here is just there's too many ideas and only some of them work well. And even the ones that do work well kind of lose a little bit as a result of there being so much other stuff going on.
Feature creep and bloat.
Mm-hmm. The story's kind of weird and vague and not told very well. The characters aren't nearly as likable. The main character looks cool. She's got a cool outfit, kind of gothy explorer thing going on. It's kind of weird. She has rocket fuel powered high heels, so she can like triple jump and stuff up the sides of walls. So that's cool. But yeah, feature creep. That said, I still like enjoy it. It's still got like the basics of what make Atelier games stand out and be fun and charming. Crafting is there as usual, and they're always doing weird stuff with that, adding new gimmicks and things. Combat's really interesting because it's real time, but it's not trying to be like a character action game like a Final Fantasy 16. It's still kind of trying its own things.
Ryza was an
like
ATB game, kind of, and that was
kinda,
neat.
yeah. The first one was just straight up turn based, and then it got more and more ATB ish as it went on because they were like, "Oh, we should be experimenting,"
Yeah.
like everyone else. But this is like full on the other side of that. So you're like you can block and parry, and you can dodge out of the way, and if you do it just so, you get bonuses. There's like certain combos you can do if you like hit your buttons a lot, and there's a lot of cooldowns and things like that. It's very active, a lot happening at once. The main character, I mentioned her high heels. She basically like controls mana, that sort of thing. You have a limited resource, but it's like it comes out and it like explodes kind of with this red color. And she's got like a magic staff, but she can like turn it sideways and then it's a musket. Yeah. And so like
We
she's
going full
spinning
Ruby
around.
out here.
Oh yeah. She's like spinning around, jumping in the air. There's like red stuff flying everywhere. It's very fun to look at. And that kind of transfers to like running around the open world because like you double jump and like the red explosions come out of her feet. You can get a motorcycle that can also wall jump. um, they're just like, not only we're gonna do everything, we're just gonna like whatever we think of, we're gonna throw it in there and try to make it look as cool as possible. But the vibes are still very cutesy and cozy and everything. So it's like,
Yeah, that's a series staple. I'd be disappointed if that went away, honestly.
it's like that, but also you can do like an Akira slide now. It's very
Nice.
strange.
You are everything is improved by the Akira slide. We have mentioned this before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just like they were like, "Oh, we're a big deal now, so now we have to compete with Fortnite, I guess." Or I don't know, Stardew Valley or whatever. So they're just like, "We're just going to throw everything in here. We're not going to force you really to do anything you don't want to do." Even if
But it's there. You can do it.
exactly. And it just feels kind of messy and unfocused and yeah, it's like how Dragon Quest Builders is like Minecraft but with a story. This is like a sandboxy game, kind of survival but not really. but then there's like an RPG story kind of on top of it.
Hmm.
So they're trying to give you all these things to play with, but also push you through a story at the same time, and it's just kind of awkward. So like a lot of people are wondering, oh, will this be the jumping on point? Because it's always like that, you know, when something new comes out, it's like, oh, can I start here? Instead of just, you know, playing a game that's a couple of years old, God forbid, that's probably cheaper. But I don't think so. It's very messy. I don't think you'll play that and be like, oh, I understand what Atelier is. I think you'll be like, this is kind of video game soup. And there's some anime stuff happening. And it's cute. It's fun to play with. But if you've been hearing buzz about the series, Atelier, just play Atelier Ryza. It's awesome. If you like it.
Play Ryza, or if you want to go even further back, try Atelier Rorona, because that's like the first game of its trilogy, and that was a pretty good jumping on point. Just basically find the first of a trilogy, use that as a jumping on point, go through that. If you like it, experiment from there. That's basically what I did.
Yeah. These are games like I'll just pick one up and just play with it for a while, and there's just something about them. They're full of systems I don't normally like in any other game, but there's just like the vibes and just how they streamline things, and
the crafting systems are quite intricate without like they change every trilogy or so, but like they're intricate and involved without being so fiddly or painful. It's got a really good middle ground of systems but approachability, and I always just found them enjoyable to play in that regard. So yeah, I'm with you there.
Exactly, and they're very silly.
Oh yes,
there's always jokes about the metagame being who can make a Looney Tunes bomb that could level a city with how much damage you can do with it. But yeah, that's that game. I gave it a 7, I believe, which is a little lower than most other people gave it. I definitely let myself have really high expectations coming high off the Rise trilogy. I was like, oh, I love these games now. I'm so excited for this new one. It looks cool. Gameplay trailers are great because they take all the cool stuff and put them in there. And I'm just like, I hate everything about this building system. I don't really vibe with these characters of the story. What a bummer. But it's still played through it and had a good time. It's one of those weird things where it's like, I'm not saying this is bad, but it sure isn't what I wanted it to be.
You can identify the flaws even if you still are able to push through it.
Exactly. And that's
Fair
Atelier Yumia.
The latest of like
memories and the envisioned land.
That would be something like Atelier 40 or something at this point, I think.
Something like that. There are tons of those things.
There are a lot of them.
That's wild. Nice.
Yeah, neat games though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I've got another little thing that I played. It's not super complicated, and I don't have a lot to say about it. But
hit us up.
Let's see. 41. Hold on. Let me give a quick note for future me. I'm going to talk about Castle v Castle.
Castle v Castle.
So this is another demo that I played on Steam. Really, really simple. Like tower. It's not tower defense, but it's like tower defense and tower offense. But there's only one tower for you and one tower for your enemy. And you're just sitting right across from each other, and you have a bunch of little cards. It's not a card builder or a deck builder or anything like that. They're really just like squares that determine what you can do. And they come out each turn. You have a certain amount of resources like bricks and magic and different things like that. And so you will, basically the idea is every time you take damage, several floors of your tower are like knocked off and you're knocked down. So it's all about seeing who can knock the other person's castle all the way down to the ground first. And so it'll be like, okay, this turn I've got some bricks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up 3 levels, and then your tower, your like castle gets a little bit taller. and then the enemy will be like, I attack for 1, and then like your castle gets a little bit shorter, and it's just this goofy little monochrome game where you're just beating the shit out of each other to like make your castle taller or shorter in this way. It's real silly. There's not a whole lot to it.
This looks great.
it is really silly and really funny, and you should check it out and just see what you think of it. It is not designed with controllers in mind, so like I was playing it on Steam Deck, and you have to use the little like mouse controls where like your right trigger is your kind of mouse click, and then you use like one of your analog sticks to just kind of maneuver the mouse around. I'm gonna try to play it on PC later on tonight after we're done with the show. I'm gonna play a little bit of it, and I've got a grip of other demos that I'm gonna get to. But yeah, go check this out. It's pretty neat. It's just real fun and silly. And I don't know whether it's gonna have any sticking power, but I thought it was cute. So
neat. Yeah, I think they just put out a city builder celebration thing on Steam. I'm like, oh no, please, no.
Yeah, this is
targeted.
I mean,
I'm under attack.
The good news is that you already hit gold in Rivals for season 1.5, and you got like 20 days left. So you get pulled away for right now. It's not like you've got like huge things pulling you.
I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know. It's probably a good excuse to actually go finish Cataclysma now that it's in 1.0.
That is true. Now that you can get the
or to just play more Against the Storm. So
can you get? Hold on, I don't actually know if I can talk about something that I was about to say. Let me check on something real quick. You guys vamp.
Rain check that, yeah.
Yeah, vamp for a second.
Shall I talk about my next game then, I guess, while you're looking that up, or?
What day is it?
It is Tuesday. Well, for me anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can talk about this. Do you have the 1.0 version? Do you have the launch version of Cataclysmo yet, or no?
I don't believe, unless it's like actually released, I'm not sure. I haven't got like, I just bought it. I don't have like a
oh yes,
copy.
It is out.
Yeah, I think it came out just a couple of days ago.
4 days ago. Yeah.
So okay, cool.
I've had the 1.0 version for a while, but I hadn't been keeping track of when the embargo lifted. I have not finished it yet.
Okay.
So we can tackle that soon.
All right.
If we
check.
Yeah, if we want to go through that together, then we can talk about it on the show and go back and forth. But
absolutely.
I think
that was a very neat game. I just didn't play as much of it as I would have liked.
I finished whatever was in the early access, which I think goes up to like chapter 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think that's where I was at, near there. But yeah.
It's like 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there of like the chapters you could do. And I only did a little bit of the side content. So yeah, but full version of that game is out. If you want to read the preview, I wrote a preview of Cataclysma for IGN, so you can go check that out. I think it's great. I think it's a really interesting thing. Speaking of tower defense games, that's actually the only tower defense game I've ever played that I like, because it's like not really that. It's like tower defense and base building.
It's closer to your classic Stronghold game, whereas you build up your big defensive castle and such against the big hordes.
Yeah,
or
but with a really cool
more contemporary
fantasy,
yeah, more contemporary would be like They Are Billions kind of thing, but it's a lot more brick by brick, literally. So
yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. I recommend it. And somehow, strangely, I missed Stronghold and They Are Billions, even though those were like both big-ish games.
Stronghold like is old. It's like Age of Empires era kind of early RTS golden age.
Yeah, but I just
still good. But
totally missed those. But yeah, check out Cataclysma. It's good. So that's what I have. So Lucas, you had something else you wanted to say? You want to cover?
I had one more.
Okay, hit us.
All right. So this one's kind of late, but I really wanted to talk about it eventually because I think it's really interesting. I played the new Carmen Sandiego game.
Oh yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, developed by Gameloft. So
when was the last time they brought out a Carmen Sandiego game? Because like they had those way the fuck back when, but I don't know how often they revitalize it.
I think it's been a while. I remember there was like a weird one on GameCube that I don't know if it was like one of those games or if it was like using the IP to do something weird or silly. Um, but yeah, I know some of them are on Steam. They've been like remade and stuff. Um, so when I was a kid, I had some like edutainment type stuff for a computer, but I never played any of these games, so I didn't really know them that well. But I think like games that are made for like teaching kids facts and history and stuff are really cool. And I think
Especially
it's
now.
yeah, it's a real bummer because my kid's like 12, um, and even when he was young and little, there just wasn't really anything that wasn't on a mobile marketplace. Like all the
And that's a
games,
cesspit that is its
yeah.
own problem.
hmm they used to make like Sesame Street games for the Wii, the Super Nintendo, everything in between. That just didn't happen anymore. It was like, okay, here's our little game you can download for free that has the alphabet on it, and you have to pay us $5 later if you want to continue doing that. And it's like all sketchy, and it was just like a bummer. It's like, man, it would be nice to have stuff like this on consoles again or on PC, or not just be, oh, we'll throw this stuff for kids on mobile now. Um, so when this got like announced and started coming up, I was like, oh, that's nifty. I'll check that out. Um, and then like obviously she was the character was like a thing in the '90s, so everyone has that nostalgia. There was like a cartoon and a game show, that catchy theme song. Um, but I missed most of that stuff besides like the cartoon. So I was going in pretty fresh. What was this game about? And I was kind of surprised by what it ended up being. Um, and I was also
It looks quite
surprised.
different at the trailer from what I would expect as well.
Yeah, so one thing I was very surprised by, because I went and did like research and stuff, it's a lot more faithful to the original games than I expected it to be, and that it kind of looks. Because they have these goofy like mini games they throw in to resemble like capital G gameplay, and I think a lot of the marketing focuses on that. So it's like, oh, she's got a grappling hook and she's going across the roofs, or stuff like that. That stuff's kind of lame, and it's like that's the part that reminds you that, oh, Gameloft made this. Um, so it's basically a mobile game anyway, if you look at the rest of their library. And that's a little unfair because they've been doing more ambitious stuff lately, but um, getting ahead of myself. So Carmen Sandiego is uh, it's a game where you are trying to catch a bad guy who has stolen something, and they are traveling across the world desperately to try to stay ahead of you, and you have to figure out who it is that did it, who stole the whole ass pyramid off the ground and somehow is taking it with them across the world. And you also have to figure out where to go to continue chasing them efficiently. So what happens is basically you talk to people where you're at, and maybe you do a mini game or whatever, and you like chase a guy, um, and you get a clue. It's either like a hint about the person or a hint about where your next flight should be, what airport you need to pick. Um, and essentially, that's what you did in the old games.
Yeah,
You had these
that's
two kind
100%
of
what I'm
pillars.
used
Yeah.
to.
So it was at first I was like, this doesn't really feel like I'm learning anything. I feel like I'm just narrowing stuff down. Um, that's kind of weak, especially identifying the culprit. You're really just like narrowing a list of stuff down to find out who that person is, and the game keeps track of all of it for you. You can kind of do this. There's like a marking system where it's like, oh, they have blonde hair, so You tick no on all the other hair colors, and it filters through everyone and spits out the remaining possible people, and then you have to like get a warrant and stuff. I was like, okay, this is kind of playing itself. What about the other part where it'll be like they're going somewhere that has this form of government, or they're going somewhere that exports a lot of corn or something like that, or like the airport has this letter in it, just like random stuff like that. And you have to kind of put all that together and be like, okay, I will go to this airport next. And you have a time limit, and everything you do takes time. So if you go to the wrong place, you are wasting a lot
Running out of
precious
time.
Yep. So what ends up kind of happening in this game is you have an almanac, and each country that you can travel to has just this page of like information about it. And that information gets filled in as you play the game. Um, so there's kind of this mixture of like picking up on clues as you're exploring an area and learning stuff about it, versus okay, there will be clues that naturally repeat themselves because that's kind of what this game is. You just do this exercise over and over. So it's like part of it is like, oh, remembering, like, oh, I associate it's like a lion fish fountain thing with I think it's somewhere in Singapore. It's been a while since I played this.
Singapore.
Or something
Brian may
that's
know
like,
that.
oh, I unlocked this fact in the almanac. I don't remember that, but it's in my almanac now, so that's awesome. So you kind of build this knowledge base on the different parts of the world, and it's like the more you play, the more I kind of felt like I was referring to the knowledge I picked up instead of just like either using knowledge I already had or guessing or even referring to the almanac. It was just like by filling the almanac in and reading what was in it. It was just like that stuff kind of organically kind of was bouncing around my head while I was playing.
Yeah.
I kind of noticed that. I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. I feel like I actually am like, I'm probably not going to retain much of this because I'm 35 or whatever. And my brain just doesn't do that. But like I'm recognizing the vision here. And I think if I was like a little kid and still soaking up knowledge like a sponge, this would be really cool for that. The the parallel there that's interesting is the original games used to actually come with almanacs. They were like these little
Sick. I always love that stuff.
yeah. I was gonna
They
say
had the
pocket
physical,
sized,
yeah.
but
They had
not
the
pocket
physical book
sized.
that you would have to refer
Yeah.
to, or you could refer to.
Exactly. So even in the original game, it wasn't really teaching you things, but it was like teaching you how to look for information and then
How to
kind of
pass information and how to, effectively how to study. Because
yeah.
it's been, so forgive me because it's been like 3 decades since I played any of these games, right? But I do recall playing what I believe was the original on like an old like Apple computer of some description at my aunt's place. Irrelevant. The point is, it plays a lot very similar to what you're describing here, but and I don't know if this is just my memory being faulty or not. It didn't have an almanac that you filled out. It had an almanac already filled out that you would have to refer to based on the clues. So you would go, okay, the person has this and this. Let's look at these traits. Let's look at the list of potential people, eliminate all the prospects, and go, it's probably that one. And so you
Yeah.
type that in or put that in. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. And then it's like, oh yeah, they've flown to a country that exports corn. It's like, regard the almanac and look through all that. You didn't fill it in, but you had to study and research in order to get it, and then you were
Yeah.
rewarded by winning. And it's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's how I did it for in the old days. So yeah, I guess I've gamified it a bit more now.
Yeah. Basically, it's like, how do you do that without packaging a book in? in the age of like looking things up on Google or whatever. It's like the stuff that made those games interesting or stand out kind of has been eliminated by technology.
They did have digital versions of the book as well in the actual
Mhm.
game to refer to. I remember that much at least. So, if you didn't have the physical book, then you could still play the game and function with it. So there's that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like, how do we, we're fighting for attention spans. We're dealing with like uh, information is trivial to get a hold of, as long as you're not like an older person believing things on Facebook that aren't true. And it was like they found a balancing point that I think makes sense logically, in terms of like capturing kind of the loop or the spirit of the loop, and although at a much smaller scale. And I came away from it being like, I feel good about this. It's interesting to uh, play a game that is clearly aimed at children in a space that just doesn't really happen anymore.
Yeah.
And having to like tackle that as like a work assignment, it was just like kind of having to transport my mind a little bit in a way I'm not used to doing. So that was fun. And I think they really tried to like, we're making a new Carmen Sandiego. We're making a new Carmen Sandiego. It's not like we're just taking this IP and making a mobile ass looking,
Knockoff.
cheap knockoff thing. It's like, no, we actually like. There's even like visual nods to the originals. Like there's like a campaign and then side missions, and it's kind of the same thing, but they use like sprites from the original games. So it's very authentic. I have no idea what the actual value of something like that is now. But I don't know, like there's definitely like a nostalgia factor to it. So the authenticity is neat. Yeah, I guess I wanted to bring it up because it's weird and interesting and cool that it exists. And it was kind of cool to like pick up on the vision of the game in real time after being kind of confused at first.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. And you make a good point about the whole, edutainment as we knew it. It's not really done that often anymore. And yeah, or at least relegated to phones, which is its own kind of fucking hell. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which sucks because like back in the day there were a lot of options, even if something wasn't explicitly like edutainment. Like you had your explicit ones where it was like Number Munchers or Math Blaster or something like that. But then you also had stuff that was just like it was teaching about concepts while still being basically a game. So like The Incredible Machine, or like The Even More Incredible Machine, which is like one of my favorite things that I used to play with my buddies, where it's like you're basically creating God, I forgot what they're called. Basically a device that's like a series of physics things that interact with each other.
Like a Rube Goldberg machine?
Yes, a Rube Goldberg device. Okay. Yeah. So it's basically you just build an entire thing of that to try to get one thing from one place to the other or what have you. And it's a whole game of that, which like teaches you about physics, teaches you about different ways that machines can work together, teaches you about like building these sorts of things. But it wasn't explicitly for building. Right. It was just because it was absurd that it was super fun.
I was a big fan of Humongous Entertainment when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was like one of the gaming brands I was aware of because we kept getting discs or whatever. But there was basically like point and click adventure games, but for kids. So stuff like Putt Putt or Freddy Fish or Pajama Sam, if any of that rings a bell for you guys.
It's vaguely familiar, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like similar concepts to like a Scum game, like Monkey Island or whatever, just pared back and easier and just teaching you how to solve things with logic.
Yeah. great. And
So
now, like we do have some of those, like you get your Professor Laytons and stuff like that, where like they kind of carry that torch a little bit, where it's like
these just aren't aimed at kids at all. It's like
yeah,
Layton comes out
they
and it's
get
like
too hard. Yeah,
yeah, it's for the anime
that's for
people.
the teens.
Yeah,
up,
exactly.
For the weebs.
Yeah.
Those games get like shockingly dark, actually.
Yeah, well, maybe no, maybe don't.
Yeah.
Or do. I'm not your butler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Final word on that. Carmen Sandiego is really cool and interesting. If you are an adult, it will not compel you for very long. It's not for you. Even if you're nostalgic for Carmen Sandiego, maybe just get like there's a limited edition retail version. Get that for your shelf, and then reminisce on the times you could watch cartoons and not pay taxes. But if you have a kid and you are looking for something that isn't a predatory mobile game that tries to get microtransaction dollars out of you to teach your child numbers and letters, I think Carmen Sandiego is good for that. Obviously, your kid would need to be a little older than that, but
I will also put a plug out there for if you want to go away from video games and you want to go into just like the skill building with like physical things. We've been doing this thing for Riley that's called Love Every, which is really awesome. And they have like a reading kit that you can get where it has like a bunch of different games that teach them different skills, like sounding out consonants and combining consonants and like combining like images with words and stuff. That's been super dope as well. Like if you're just looking for other stuff of that oeuvre, but outside of video games.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there.
This shit would have been game changing when I was a kid, like for real. And now it's just like I look around and there's companies that I've never heard of that are doing like amazing stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's probably like better in the long run than just buying like Mario ABCs or whatever for the Super Nintendo and plopping your kid in front of that.
Mario is missing.
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of lamenting the loss of that stuff at one point when I had a small child of my own. It was like, I'd probably like something like this, but it just doesn't exist.
And I'm about to have another one, so
yeah, there you go.
It's gonna be time
soon.
Noodles doesn't sleep. She waits. Behind Noodles' beard is just another fist. God, all the good old Chuck Norris bits.
They're coming right back to it.
Coming right back. All right. That was all you had, Lucas, for this week?
That was everything. I've been playing a lot of wizardry as usual.
Hell yeah.
You love to see it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I bought it. Speaking of games that I was thinking about buying on Steam, I actually bought a bunch of stuff this week because they had a huge sale. So I consolidated some of my library into a place where I will actually play it, which is on Steam Deck. So I got, I had a version of Jedi Survivor on Xbox that I got, and I was just like, forget it. It's heavily discounted on Steam. I'm just getting it there. It runs on Steam Deck. I'm getting it there.
It actually runs on Steam Deck. That's kind of wild. Given the history of that game's performance, the fact that it's deck worthy is kind of wild.
It says playable, but like with the yellow thing, I think. Or no. It says unsupported actually. Okay. It says unsupported. But if you actually go in, like the only thing it really does is it like kind of cuts off like about that much, like a tiny little bit of the corner of the screen. So like when it shows you how many skill points you have, you see like half the number or whatever. Okay. But I'm sure there's a way that I can change the launch like option to like change the resolution or whatever, but like it runs totally fine. I turned off ray tracing.
Wild.
Like it's fine. And like it's a place I can actually play it. I got Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which was previously something I was playing on Switch. And now that I'm just totally Steam Deck pilled, I was like, all right. So I did that. You can upload your save to the cloud. So I'm picking up right where I left off, which is just choice.
Well, that's neat.
I love it when games do that. And I got that Pathfinder game.
Yeah, you were asking me about that.
Yeah, Pathfinder Wrath of the
So
Righteous.
Wrath of the Righteous. Yeah.
Yep. I got another game that I've been playing on Xbox, Nier Automata. I got, which is also
A very good one.
Also Steam Deck ready. I got Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition. I got Spiritfarer Farewell Edition.
Oh, Prepare to Cry Edition. Yeah.
Yeah, I got Doom 64, Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3. I got, this is unrelated, but I did get a key for Caves of Cud, so I'm gonna be jumping into that soon.
I know that's a wormhole and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
And then what else did I get?
One day I'll get to that.
Did I get anything else? I don't think I bought anything else. But yeah, there's a lot. No. I bought Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Neat.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the multiplayer, which is sad.
Yeah.
Also washed out all the colors in the first game, so it looks awful. But
that's a shame. But I never.
good.
So I only played 2 and 3. So I never actually played the first one, which I've heard from some people that is maybe the first one is the best one.
I like it a lot.
It's the least playable, but probably the best in terms of like writing and everything overall, I would say.
So yeah. But yeah, that's
I bought
what I've been up
one
to.
game during the sale. One game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a silly title.
Is it fucking Wizardry again?
No. It's called Sorcery Saga Curse of the Great Curry God.
That one is on my wish list from a while back. So
that's gracious.
Neat.
Hold on. Curry God? Hold on.
Curry God.
Sorcery Saga Curse of the Great Curry God. Oh, of course. There's like tiny little Japanese girls in it.
This series is where Puyo came from. So if you
really?
like Puyo, yeah. And it's coming back. There's a new one.
I don't know Puyo, but I do know Puyo Puyo.
Yeah. The little gem guys in the puzzle game.
Cool.
They were actually the slime equivalent in a dungeon crawling RPG that came out on like the Game Gear.
Dang.
I did not know that either. That's wild.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Dude, Lucas here with the fucking deep lore.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't know Puyo Puyo either until Puyo Puyo Tetris. So
exactly.
like that's
That was my introduction as well, but yeah. I just didn't know it also went back to Sorcery Saga or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. This one's like a spinoff.
I was about to say, is this like an idea? Reasons. Yes, this is absolutely an Idea Factory Compile Heart.
Yeah, so Compile Heart made them back in the day too. Compile Heart has had a funny relationship with Sega for a long time that I think Sega is not incredibly proud of and keeps kind of quiet most of the time.
Well, yeah, it's Idea Factory.
Yeah. But Compile Heart sure isn't afraid to bring it up every now and then. Yeah, so a new one is coming out and it has the Puyos in it. So people were like, what the hell? This is RPG with Puyos in it. And I'm like, I know what that is. This game was on the Vita back in the day and I saw it was like $2.
I want to know who did the art for this because there is I don't know what the connection is. There has to be some connection between whoever, like whether it's inspiration or like actually working on it, there has to be some connection between this and like NIS because there's like a lot of similarities between the way these characters look, the way these menus look, all that sort of stuff. Like there's got to be.
I feel like the art style of those two groups does kind of cross-pollinate a lot. So
yeah.
Maybe.
Like this, you could show me this menu and be like, oh, this is from what is it? Monster Chef or whatever it was called.
Oh yeah, Monster Menu. Yeah.
Monster Menu. Like you could have been like, oh, this is from like Monster Menu. And I'd have been like, oh, yeah, that sounds right. Kitty Curry. Yeah, of course. Of course that would be from Monster Menu.
Yeah, it's got kind of
Something-
a similar theme. You're going
something-
through dungeons and getting food.
Something weird's going on here. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. I'm not getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah, probably not. Information on games like this is very scarce, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Probably credits in the game, but I doubt there's any crossover.
I'm just wondering, like, if Sorcery Saga is like an old thing, if the art has looked like this, I'm like, did NIS take notes from this? Was the artist like partially inspired by this person? Is this a new art revamp where like these people were inspired by like how cutesy the NIS stuff looks? I don't know. But I noticed the similarities. And I'm telling you that I noticed it. So that if something comes out later, I can tell you that I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
You can take credit for it retroactively.
Yes. And if not, then we can just all forget about this and it never happened. That's great.
I've already forgotten about it. What are we talking about again?
Yep, we're talking about nothing. Kris, did you have anything else you want to talk about this week, or shall we just dip?
Well, speaking of Steam sales, I bought a couple of games on that as well. One of which I haven't got to yet, but one I have started and was on my list to talk about is Returnal.
Hey!
Which is one that I had been eyeing pretty much ever since its announcement, but I didn't have a PS5. It was PS5 exclusive for a while. And then I came to PC, and I didn't get around to it until just now. So I'm finally getting around to it, and I'm not breaking any new ground here when I tell you this game fucking slaps.
Yep.
But
pretty good.
Returnal fucking slaps.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah, still very early days, but just it's fast, it's fluid, it's got the house mark. You know, they do very arcadey games. Like I was familiar with them through Next Machina previously as well, and this feels like, you know, this but with budget. And yeah, it's just so far solid roguelike, very good challenge, really good action combat, lots of high intensity, high movement speed, dodging and weaving and bullet hell and oh my god, why? And yeah, early days on so far, still don't know much about it. I've reached like I've only made a couple of runs so far and only on like the second level, the desert level. I don't know how many there are. I think there's 6 or so. But yeah, so beat the first boss and I'm working through the desert area and got a decent chunk of that before I was killed. So yeah.
Nice. Got any
Game's
favorite,
hard, game's good.
Got any favorite weapons so far?
I've only tried a couple so far. I don't really care for the shotgun unless it has slug shot, in which case it gets the freaking, you know, it feels like the Quake railgun. At that point, I'm like, I'm on board. But yeah, it tends to be that or the carbine so far. But they're all good in their own way. It really depends. And I haven't, I'm still in the process of like permanently unlocking some of the traits and such, so that can change it quite a bit. But I got like, so in the desert you unlock like the sniper rifle thing, except at that point I had a malfunction where I couldn't pick up new weapons, so I couldn't try it. So I haven't found it since. So
oh no, terrible.
So
hate to see it, but yeah, great game.
So
speaking of Returnal,
Oh
and come to
my.
the heart.
Oh god, what have you unearthed?
They have a game coming out called Scar-Led Salvation that basically looks like if you put Returnal and Hatsune Miku in a microwave and let it run for, you know.
Okay, sure.
Oh man, dude, this key art character, the spicy redhead.
Hit me with that again. What's the name?
Scar-Led Salvation.
I mean, here, I'm just gonna show you this image.
It was just too funny of a coincidence to not bring it up.
Like, look at that. Look at her.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. What if Hatsune
Yep.
Miku was like a child soldier and then
Yeah.
grew up?
What if Hatsune Miku was a child soldier? Okay, cool.
It sure does look like something else.
Yeah, all right, neat. Hopefully it's good. But until then, I'll keep playing Returnal and keep beating my face against that and getting shot to pieces. Because I am not great at action games, but
Also, I think What If Hatsune Miku Was a Child Soldier is probably pretty well positioned to be a title.
I think so. I think so.
That's a pretty good one. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie, I'm pleased with myself on that one. But
yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, that's cool. And that's a wild coincidence to segue from two things and then find that. Shout out to Lucas for keeping us, I would say grounded, but I think we are well below ground.
Keeping us on our toes is a better way of putting it.
Thank you to Lucas for digging us deeper into the deep, deep, dark well of video game insanity.
Well, hey, you did say earlier that you would be the one to look outside, because what if?
It's true.
Well, we keep looking, man.
Exactly.
We keep looking.
The marriage story thing of like every day I wake up and find out something new about these weird niche RPGs.
Every day I wake up.
Yeah, every day I wake up. Ah, so good.
And you never know if what I bring up is actually good or if I just think it's funny.
Dude, full stop. Like, I don't know if the games that you're talking about fucking exist. Most of the time I look them up, but like you could be just gaslighting the entire industry with this nonsense. And that's part of the charm. That's part of your charm, Lucas. Never change.
No, I love it. You dig up such, like, I feel like I know a bunch of niche stuff, and then you dig this stuff up. I'm like, where is this coming from? Yeah. I love this. This is great. So shout out to you, Lucas.
This has one review on Steam, and it's somehow mixed.
And it's by Lucas.
Somehow mixed
reception.
It's
not by me. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
Mix 50-50 off one review somehow.
Yeah, we don't know how it happened, but somehow, Palpatine has returned. All right, should we get out of here?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I'll save anything else I got till next time.
Yeah. That seems like a good insane way to just leave. All right, now we're gonna abandon you with these mental images that we've provided. So I hope you enjoy that.
Your insight has increased.
Oh no, I see them on the walls. Oh no. Thank you for joining us.
Happy 10th anniversary to Bloodborne.
Oh my god.
Sony didn't acknowledge it, so I'm going to acknowledge it. God damn it.
Yeah. One show will acknowledge it, and it's right here. Thank you for joining us for the platformers. If you like the show, tell somebody about it. Although, dear God, help you if you do.
But do it anyway. It's funny.
Review. Yeah. It's good. We love talking to all of you. So come hit us up on social media. You can find me on Blue Sky and Backlogged at Brian Barnett, BrianBarnett, and Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Ribnax, Ribnax. You can look me up on Rivals Meta and see how much I'm getting fucking stomped on PS5. At my handle is Tofu Chameleon, which is
but on PC you're Ribnax, and you're also getting stomped there.
That's true.
Usually when you're with a Delphia guy.
My win rate is so much worse on PC, and until the last 5 games on PS5, I had like an 80% loss rate on PS5.
That's wild.
It's insane, dude. It is insane. The number of people who just bail on competitive matches mid-match is just bonkers. But anyways, we put the episodes up on Twitch and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. And if you want to see the stuff that I've been doing, you can read my Rainbow Six Siege X preview on IGN. You can read my Monster Hunter Wilds guides and Marvel Rivals character guides on Kotaku. 1.0 of Cataclysmo is out as of 4 days ago. So go check out my preview for Cataclysmo, because I don't think IGN is doing a full review of it. So I think my hands-on preview is probably the last thing up about it. But yeah, Kris, where can people find you?
Hey, I am known around the internet and meat space as well as Kris Cornelis, but on the internet it's also Delphir, Delfeir. My website is at versusthebacklog.com. That's vsthebacklog.com, one word. And yeah, other than that, you'll probably see me playing Rivals, among other games around the place. Say hi if you see me. How about you, Lucas?
Hey, I'm Lucas White. You can find me on Blue Sky at Hokuto Lucas. Every game I talked about today has a review on shacknews.com. That's where most of my reviews live, because they like to let me play weird stuff, which keeps me happy and healthy.
Shout out to Shack News.
Yeah. Also, you can find me covering the news on restart.run. Lots of normie stuff like Minecraft and Fortnite. I reviewed WWE 2K25 there. I have an Atomfall review coming up there as well. Speaking of gaslighting, I think I hallucinated most of that game, but we'll see how that goes when that gets published. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. Very nice. All right,
Awesome.
everybody. Have a great week out there. Thank you for joining us. Stay safe. We'll be back with more unhinged behavior on the next episode. And until then, we are out.
Peace.